All right, so let's just wait a few minutes. Hopefully Lorani shows up and
I totally
see if I can get.
Here's Lalani.
She has arrived, apparently.
Yes, you too. Hey. Were you guys waiting for me? Or did you think I quit?
No.
You have your coffee in there?
No.
Why not? Oh, that's better. Okay, we're gonna get your
water.
It's not vodka, just send it home.
Why might not be there?
Right?
It's Chianti.
At least you guys like me, right?
Only if it's Chianti.
You guys like me tonight. I hope
don't
you guys
know.
like me tonight.
I didn't tune in last.
Like you, like you every night.
Oh, thank you. How you doing, Tony? You got it all up?
Seeing Andrew.
Did he
has to-
sign
He
in?
has to sign in first.
Did he say he signed in?
He might be in session. And he might have not gotten on.
The only way you'll see him is if you go to participants at the bottom. No, click the whole thing. And then go, is there anything on the other side? The other tab?
Probably in the court.
Yeah, he's probably in court.
Right.
Late for it.
Yeah, he was in last time.
I remember that.
Remember? I think Harrison was.
Yeah. It's their night owls there.
Better been in court than me.
Okay. Who's raising their hand? I did see that, but I didn't see that. Huh? I don't know, maybe because you possibly raised your hand by accident.
No, it said two attendees. raised it.
No, it was you. It was you. Look there. Alrighty. I got updates today.
Yeah.
Yay.
No, it's after.
Hey, like,
We start?
can we? I
Oh, did
mean,
we?
I don't know. We're waiting for Tony.
waiting for Tony to get his life.
7:05, we're starting. Okay. Good evening, all.
Good evening. Good evening, all. Of the all. Indeed.
Okay, so this is April 25th, 2023, Village of Mamaroneck Flood Mitigation Advisory Committee meeting. Two exits, no smoking, please turn off your phones. Do I have a motion to open the meeting? So move. Second. Favor? Okay, meeting's open. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we're just gonna go through, well, before we start the agenda, I wanted to say, and I guess I would like to hear your opinion, but I think we're making some progress, maybe not as much as we want, but you know, we've got, the Army Corps is supposed to give their public partnership agreement to the village in May. So Leilani, you and I have to follow up on that. The second thing is SLR is doing their study, and hopefully they're supposed to present to DEC first. So once, because I asked them for an update, I asked them to come tonight. That's that firm that's doing the watershed assessment, right? So they said they have to present to DC and DEC, and then I'm going to ask them to present here. So hopefully out of that, we can hear whether any of these ideas that we have, hopefully they'll back some of them, right? So I think that's good. I know that Kate proposed highway mitigation, and I know Dave, you sent an email around, so we're going to talk about that in a bit. So I think that's good. And I know that you and Leilani got some money to help residents with stuff that wasn't funded by other stuff. Is that correct?
Or
Leilani?
Steven.
Oh, Stephen, you got that money?
I proposed it, I don't know what happened.
Well, the board got it, but you proposed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought Leilani, you said Dave did it.
Did I?
Yeah, you told me Dave.
I thought it was.
Well,
I was surprised because I thought it was
Yes,
Stephen's
I
thing.
was surprised.
It was somebody, but I knew who I was talking about when I said it, but I may have mixed up the names, but I knew it was Steven who did it.
All right, so the board got it. Did the board approve it?
Board approved it last night.
All right,
So
They approved two things for flooding. They approved 30,000 for what Steven is asking for, which is for individuals who are affected by the floods to be given like it's not a loan, but a grant or just money to offset some costs, like for if you needed to purchase like a new pump, if you needed to purchase, if you lost your boiler in the flood, things that had to do something that you lost in the flood, that money will go specifically towards individuals who want to apply for it and say, okay, we'll give you a certain amount and then you can use it towards that.
How are we applying for that?
That's, that process is to
To be
build through,
discussed.
through the village manager, and possibly if you guys had any ideas about it. Yeah,
Well, it's gonna be on the website, right?
it will be on the website. There will be a whole process, and I think that Jerry has a whole system of how he wants to do it. But that specifically, that money is for that.
Okay.
Okay,
so is it preventative or just after floods?
it could be like if it doesn't necessarily have to, flood has to come. If you literally if you literally, your pump is down and out right now, you can apply for,
So before the flood, if something happens,
before-
if your pump is out,
yes,
get it fixed, we'll give you something back.
Was that
yes.
just for pumps?
No, it's for anything that that was like flood related. Like if you, like I said, if you lost, you had to replace your boiler, you had to replace like a refrigerator that was in your basement or whatever, your first
Stuff
floor.
Like if you want to do a check valve. you know,
Yes.
For your,
Yeah.
or if you wanted to do French drains, any preventative measure. Was there a limit on the amount of money they were gonna give out? Or that's
I
something-
do believe there's a limit.
Mhm.
I can't pay for like a full pump, but they'll pay for like half.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
what I said.
they will give money, because eventually all that'll run out.
Yeah,
and-
was there some kind of income limit or was there anybody?
It's for anybody,
Oh, okay. So they
anybody.
didn't have an income.
No, they no income level. And then the second thing was $280,000 would go towards any individual who cannot, who does not, who is not eligible, I'm sorry, who is not eligible for any state funding that is coming down. They can apply for that money to help raise their houses. Okay,
Is there a percentage amount they would give up to on that 280?
that's like the same type of process with this other funding would be, and Jerry has to do the fine tuning for that.
So you're saying that two programs got approved. One is
Yes.
the $30,000 for pre and post flooding kind of house preparation stuff.
Yes.
Money.
Okay.
Yes,
And the process is gonna come out from the village manager on how to deal with that.
yes,
I will fire that.
yes.
Okay, and then the second is a $280,000 fund to do what?
Raising houses.
To help raise
To
housing,
help raise houses,
yes.
and the process to apply for that is also gonna come out from the village manager's office.
Yep.
Okay,
Hopefully
okay, so what I was simply saying is that I think we've been making some progress going in the right direction. There's obviously more progress to be made. I want to talk about that. I want to just talk about two other things. So one is to follow up on Stephen. That program, that sounds like the village started. Is there a way for us to try to get matching funds, do you think, from, like county, state, or the feds?
I mean, I think it's worth exploring the county because a lot of them seem to be, say they had money to do stuff like that, so I think if we could somehow, I think that's, that's a possibility for them to adapt a similar program or get matching funds on it.
Okay, so I don't wanna do it now, but I wanna see if we can split up some of the responsibilities and see who wants to do what, because I think that's probably a valuable asset to the village. So on just progress in general. The other things that I would like to talk about are regulations, enforcing current regulations, and then updating regulations. So I think we can make progress on both of those. So, but before I do that, just from the residents' point of view. Oh, do we have any updates on?
I was like, where are you going?
So I'm gonna get. Silt removal.
Okay, my job, yes. Silt removal is still working, is still being done.
We talking about the dam now, or are we talking about?
I'm talking about the silt removal that has been doing, that they've been doing with
With
excavating.
the excavator there.
Yes. with
Where, do we know where they're doing that?
that. Right now. I have a lot of paperwork that I have to look through to get.
Did they put it on the excavator?
They're at the plaza, you said? They're still there?
Our DPW was there in the past few days, so.
So then that's where it's at, because that's
But
where they
is the
said.
excavator
But
there?
there's no excavator.
No, they're just,
They're just taking out bush.
right, they're doing bushes there.
Where is the excavator? Does anybody know?
Let me come
I
back to
don't.
that. Let me come back to that. I do know that Jerry said that for the update is that they are,
Your
This-
little tile in it,
a tool.
tile.
No.
Your little tile in it.
No, I have a lot of things, a lot of updates that they gave me, but, let me get back to that one. I'll give you an update on that one in a minute. Another update that with the, there hasn't been much of an update with, the ACE project as of yet.
Which project?
So we have to have a meeting, we have to have a May meeting.
It's not like they haven't reached out, they have.
Have the last-
I said, it's not like they haven't reached out, but they have, it's just that they haven't responded back. Okay,
All I'm saying is our monthly meeting is in May, so I'm gonna reach out to Jerry and just see when we can get a date.
with,
24.
okay,
The silt removal, from what I heard, that they purchased a new bucket for
For the machine.
the machine. They don't have it yet, but they purchased it or ordering it so they can grab the big stuff without doing too much damage to the riverbed.
All right, what other updates did you have?
there's a meeting that's coming up with the DEC. That a member from the flood committee, and they need one member from the flood committee.
I asked, what's that?
The date hasn't been set yet, it will be in May.
May?
But we do have to have at least one member from the committee to attend.
And that's SLR and DEC.
Yes. So
I'd like to go to that.
when they email back about the
I mean,
date, I'll let you know.
You said at least one. I mean, I'm sure they could say,
It's by Zoom, why not do one, couple of us?
it's by
Is
Zoom.
it in person or in Zoom? Oh, you don't know.
I'm quite sure,
Okay.
pretty much,
All right,
I
we'll
think,
find out then.
I believe that it might be Zoom, because I don't know, because these
okay,
people
that's
are in
fine.
Albany, so I don't
That's
know.
better. It's better.
Okay. Then the other update was when, there was a resident that lived over by the road to nowhere, her name, she's Peggy's, Peggy and
Peggy Jackson and
Peg-
Roxanne.
Roxanne, thank you, Roxanne. They requested that we become interested parties, for, the development that is gonna be happening on Harrison side. So the board did come up with a resolution. And it was sent, so I can read just a small snippet of what we are requesting. It says, now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees request that the Village of Mamaroneck be included as an interested agency in a secret review of subdivision applications and commercial site plan applications for upstream communities that contribute to the Mamaroneck River watershed. and be it further, and then it goes on, but this is when it says that contribute to the Mamaroneck River, so that includes White Plains, Scarsdale, Town, and Mamaroneck as well. So it's not just Harrison, we ended up getting all of those,
Yeah.
So those went to all
Scarsdale
those
too.
municipalities?
huh?
Those went to all those different
Yes.
municipalities?
Yes, so when it comes down to their development, we are an interested party.
Great.
So that would
Fantastic.
include the White Plains, Hidden Farms thing, with the 100,000.
And it would include all of that.
That's the golf course.
Yeah.
That's the old Ridgeway Golf Course. But it goes to the village clerk, correct? Any information that's gonna happen over there? Is that how it works?
And then it would come to us,
Okay.
like, we
To the
will know,
VLT.
yes,
But it goes to the clerk's office and then the clerk has to report to you guys
Yeah,
and say,
I believe
this
so.
is happening. Okay.
Let me ask you, since we're asking to be a party, are we gonna be made one?
No, we are, because of, I think it's because of, because we're requesting it through. No, I believe that we just are.
Okay.
That's just how it was explained to me, because of secret, because we are requesting to be.
Okay.
Andrew, you had
Overall.
something? Oh, he's not talking to us.
We're not just gonna get the
Oh.
information, we're gonna do something about it though, right?
No, but isn't that the whole point? So that
Yeah,
we
well,
can advocate for ourselves,
yeah,
you know,
okay.
before they didn't have to tell us anything, but
No.
now they do, you know,
Okay.
and then we have to be on top of it to advocate
So
our community as well.
So then you.
I have a,
someone will
I have
be
a
able to-
question. I'm sorry. Procedurally, let's say, for example, now, the perfect example of the Harrison project off of Mamaroneck Avenue. Let's say tonight, planning board, they're appearing. Who from our community would advocate on behalf of the community? Would it be a trustee? Would it be the chair of flood mitigation? Do we have a policy, a procedure in place?
No, we don't.
'Cause I
Do you
know
want to?
one point, Peggy Jackson, and I think a few others came to Harrison a few years ago on some of the project. And flood mitigation, we did it sort of just voluntarily. I mean, we just went. So I would suggest the next step is just having some type of, that way we're not stepping over each other's feet and streamlining the communication.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I can go. I actually made my good contribution. I'm just kidding. One per week.
Don't we all, one per week. So in regards to the excavator, it was on North Barry, opposite of the EMS building. They moved it to Fenimore to help clear out the shell drake culverts. And we have it off of, they have it on Fenimore right now, sorry, Feminor. It's like one of those like.
Fenimore.
Fenimore.
How
You
long
say
have
it
been-
fast enough and it just becomes just like a mixed up word.
Is
Okay.
our vac truck operational right now, or is that being serviced right now? The vac truck,
I don't know. Can ask.
I had heard, and I'm not one to, I just want to make sure, especially now, because you have all the landscapers and community and property owners that are now doing their spring cleaning, and a lot of stuff has gone down into our drains, and it's just a good idea, possibly no different than in the fall, to make sure that we're, getting that guck and stuff out. And I had heard that there was an issue with the back truck, and we want to make sure that is,
I should ask DPW. Why am I jacked up on my words today?
you know what, and you have a huge agenda, items. If you want, I could always email too and just say, hey, I don't want to add things to your list because I know you've got a lot.
Blessings, Andrew.
Yeah, that would be great. All right,
No,
let's-
can I do that? Is that okay? I can do that. Okay.
let's
right.
just finish on the updates. So,
Sorry.
no, so Leilani, how about the I-95, the stormwater flows from, all right, let me go to our guests. So what I wanted to ask you was, what's out there that we're not attacking that we should be, that you think we should be? I'd like to hear that.
I have a list. But I would love to answer that question, but I'd like to hear what the rest of the board is working on, and then maybe.
What, for the end of the meeting?
At the end.
Okay. All right.
I mean, regarding like all the what's happening on the Waverly Avenue Bridge, you know, that, I mean, there's a lot of traffic mess, you know.
Yeah.
They're fixing that, and they're also doing a lot of sewer work in the flats. That is to help with flooding issues and yeah, so and then
That you've seen our agenda.
yes,
Are well aware of the addition of parallel mitigation.
right.
You know, but there's other levels of parallel mitigation that we do need as well.
So then let's hear it.
But I'd rather listen, like I said, first, because I think that the board might contribute to some of my Q&A without me having to answer that question. So I'd rather let you get into your agenda before.
Why don't we continue with our update? You know, update on the
When is the Waverly Bridge replacement happening?
I think they would just.
July 1st, it's supposed to
Yeah.
happen, but it's been quite the mess this week.
Yeah, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's because
Yeah.
Con Ed was on that street, so
Yeah.
that was, I don't think that was related to,
Understandably.
was it related to that? I don't think it
No.
was.
No, but
Yesterday were, armed robbers running through.
a lot of stuff going on.
There's a big mess going on, but
Con Ed was a little bit of everywhere this
It's
week.
been a
but Con
mess
Yes.
down there this week.
They were up in the Heights yesterday as well. They're on Boston. No, are they on
Con Ed?
Boston? Yeah,
Yeah, they're-
or there's just construction on Boston.
All right.
So there's just a lot going on traffic wise in our community.
Waverly
As
Avenue
always.
is the main one because that they're directing everybody to go to Hoyt, so where they usually cut. through
Right.
our neighborhood there, they have to go to Hoyt now, so it's a real mess because Con Ed's working on.
Well, right now, they're not directing anybody. That's the mess is they're not being directed anywhere. People are just going everywhere.
That too.
That's the problem with Con Ed.
Mm,
Hopefully the town will do better than Con Ed is.
but before I continue to listen, I did have a question
mhm.
in regards to the two grants. $250,000 is a blessing, but it only raises on half,
280.
So,
But, so it would be in bits and pieces of people who, some houses are, probably would never be able to be lifted because they're well over 200-300 years old. My house was built in 1868. It probably wouldn't be a candidate for something.
I think the idea is that it's not gonna pay for an entire person's house
Yeah.
to be, it's just a grant towards it.
But my next level of conversation was when we were at that year-mark meeting with the county, and they had offered financial help to residents to do French drains, to, dry wells, to help with any mitigation that their house insurance didn't provide to them, or if they weren't eligible for FEMA. Are we able to circle back and find out from the county if that would be another level that we could reintroduce in conjunction with the other two grants, and people who are in that medium place where they are paying out of pocket, like my husband and I, and probably half the village, is everybody including here, would have another layer of option. And they would be able to seek that help out or that information from the flood mitigation website, because that information was given once in frustration and everybody walked away because they were still a year out and.
that was the one at Mamaroneck Avenue, right?
Mhm.
I believe one of the residents who's on Zoom also had questions about that plan as well. And that still hasn't, much information has come out again about that.
They had opened it up once,
Mhm.
right after that, and the link is nowhere to be found on the website, or maybe I'm missing it. But if we could somehow, I don't know if somebody would be.
Yeah, I will ask,
Yeah.
I will ask
It
Eva.
would be something that we
Sorry.
could take up to the front where people would have to look for it, where maybe at this point they're able to apply for that additional layer of help.
Got it.
In conjunction with the great gifts and the great grants that everybody is, and that's a great thing, the more we can help our residents recover, the better it is for us all.
Got it.
Leilani we had said we were gonna try to find out what the follow-up to that meeting was, because officially, have we had an official kind of follow-up info? I don't think so.
No,
All right, so we have to find that out. Okay. All right, let's just keep going through what I'm calling updates for the heck of it. So the Mamaroneck Dam and Reservoir Study, supposedly LSR is also looking at that, but was there any follow-up at any level on the report that we had from the engineers? Who was, that we had the three options, right, which everyone thinks that a new dam and reservoir options.
I
So,
think it was 3 or 4.
Well, the fourth one wasn't on there, it was about checking out what the
gates and the valves.
yeah,
Valves.
yeah.
Valves. Okay,
And clean, see if they are functional and.
all right, so,
So the update with that is that the suggestions from the village office, the village manager's office, was sent to the state. And now, so now it has to come back to us with their recommendations.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
What was sent to the state?
So okay, so before, remember when I believe Jerry said to us,
Violation.
yes. Jerry said to us that once we got the study back, they were gonna they were gonna look through it and send their suggestions. Then it has to go back to the state so that they can then review it and then give it back to us.
So we've sent it to the state saying these are what we would recommend
Yes,
doing?
yes. So, and then after that, it will come back to the BOT. And then we will decide based upon what how the community feels that we should go.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Should we send a note to the BOT saying that,
Which one you were in favor of?
which option
Mhm.
we would like to see happen, if at all possible?
That's fine.
I think so.
I mean, I think the thing about that is though, we don't know, we don't hear what's up with the valves yet. I don't know if that ever was.
They couldn't find the valves.
They said they couldn't find
They
them, but
couldn't find them.
what are those valves going to do when they
Yeah. when-
cut
when
holes
you-
into
yeah.
the dam already? Those valves are really passe because
Yeah, they don't-
they've already overridden them by cutting 2 huge rectangles into the
Yeah.
dam.
Okay.
And it seemed like at that meeting that there was somewhat of I would say it sounded
A
like there was a
consensus.
consensus that rip it down and put a new dam in, right? I mean,
I'm all for it.
I think that's what it was.
So-
Yes.
so
Please come work too, sorry.
Oh, that was your, okay.
Just giving a thumbs up.
So first question then, do you think it's wise to send the BOT a note saying flood mitigation committee?
I think you've done it before in similar situations, so why not do it now?
Does anybody oppose to that?
No,
Andrew, are you with us here?
I'm very much with you. I'm hearing you.
All right, so then, what would be the, so what are we recommending?
New dam.
New dam and reservoir?
Well, the reservoir is different. from the
Reservoir, yeah.
dam.
I think we gotta do it
Thanks,
as a
but-
package. Clean out the reservoir. If you ask me what I want a new dam, I want a modern dam with 21st century valves and clean out that reservoir to maximize water storage.
absolutely.
Listen, I've been saying it all along.
I know
That's
you have to
that's what
say
we need. They
absolutely.
need to do both.
Okay, so Dave,
I know somebody asked this a couple minutes ago, but didn't we? I know we sent one resolution. Is this just closing in and focusing in on certain components of that, or is this taking a step further?
I'm thinking it's a follow-up to the report from the engineers and the public meeting with the Board of Trustees that we have not opined, I hate that word, but opined on that subject since.
Understood.
Okay.
Dave's comment.
Yeah, Tony, at what stage does someone do a cost benefit analysis of this? I mean, we know the benefit, but what
That's a good
about?
point.
And we know how the Army Corps, does their kind of cost benefit analysis. And I would expect somewhere along the line, someone's gonna do that also. Do we just say this is what we want and worry about the cost when those things start coming down the pike? Or is that something we do earlier on?
Well, my feeling is there's a lot of money out there. And so if it doesn't cost us anything, the cost benefit ratio is infinitely positive.
But somebody who's giving the money is probably gonna do a cost benefit ratio.
Okay, so then let them do it. and,
Okay,
You know,
okay.
but now, the only fear that I have, quite frankly, is that SLR is gonna come down with a different set of recommendations than, what was the firm? I can never remember what was the acronym of? the firm?
GHD.
GHD. So that's, my fear is that SLR is gonna say something different than GHD said. And then you're gonna have one engineer's word against another engineer's word, and it's gonna cause confusion.
Yeah, but SLR didn't do the extensive study on the dam as did GHD. They did all the models and all that specifically for the dam, because they were looking into the dam for the regulations, number one, and number two was flood control. So I don't know if SLR is even doing that. I think they're just doing the rivers and the watershed.
Yeah, I know last time also, we just talked about the dam. We really didn't talk about the reservoir. So I think they are kind of being treated as two separate things. I think we should only bite off what we've talked about and what's been talked about publicly. And take that up separately, even though there is a connection between the two, because there's been no talk about the reservoir.
So I'm hearing.
The reservoir, you're talking, the reservoir, we're not talking about the Larchmont. We're talking, where everything is over by, where the dam, okay, okay. That's
Waterworks.
also the purchase of the reservoir, okay.
Should we be doing this in anticipation of that report, the SLR, or should we wait until we've seen it?
I guess. I think the consensus has been that dam provides some flood control even now. And that by a modern, better dam with the proper valves and drain down capacity will improve the flood control of that dam. And that, I mean, we only have so many tools in our toolkit, you know, I mean, we got the Larchmont Dam, they can work, the Army Corps is gonna dredge the rivers, but when they dredge the rivers, water's gonna come down faster, right? So to me, I would say, I would say, let's go for broke, let's say reservoir and dam, but I hear what Steven's saying, so comments on, so let's start with, we're gonna send the board a memo based on the GHD study. And it's gonna say we want a new dam, a modern 21st century dam for flood control with gates and valves, blah, blah, blah. That's, so everybody's agreed to that?
Yes.
Any disagreement? No, okay. All right, do we want to include the reservoir as improving the reservoir for additional flood control?
Included with
Wouldn't one go hand in hand? I mean, doesn't one, having a deeper reservoir provide allowance to retain more, and the dam will function to release and hold and store, and I mean, isn't it sort of hand in hand? The better the better maintained the reservoir is, the more functionality we'll have from an improved dam. I mean, no, maybe.
I don't know.
I agree, but I guess the thing would be, do we want to wait for the SLR study of the watershed to come through before we suggest, okay, this water is coming down and in a reservoir would help it? As far as I'm concerned, I do agree with Andy. It goes hand in hand. It's a no-brainer. To me.
But we also don't want to muddy, no pun intended, muddy the water and then distract and dilute exactly what it is we're trying to achieve.
The focus that we have, we're under all kinds of constraints and things, is the dam. We've got to do something about the dam. I mean, that's.
All right, so how about we
Let's
say
talk
this?
about the dam first.
How about we say that we want a new dam, modern 21st century dam. In addition, we'd like to have the reservoir reviewed for flood holding capacity. Does that sound okay?
I think the dam would be a lot more effective if there was a decent
Right.
reservoir behind
Right.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so Andrew, is that good with you?
No, I like that. I think that's good.
All right, so I'll send the draft around everybody. You know, if you want me to change it, just change it, okay?
Just to review about the, the reservoir, is that Mamaroneck property or is that White Plains? I mean, that's some of it too.
Yeah, but to me, we're just saying, look. We're saying, let's look at it to widen it, deepen it better. But yeah, I don't know who owns
I
it.
think it's,
This has been like a hot potato. Every meeting you hear somebody else owns it. Bernie.
Going back to the dam. The property is owned by Westchester.
You changed your mind?
No. The property is owned by Westchester Joint Waterworks.
Okay,
So. My feeling is. We need a new dam. That's what my feeling is. And GHD is saying that basically the dam there is no good.
Right.
And they do put a new dam. Westchester Joint Waterworks has to be involved, or they have to give us, either sell us the property for $1, which I'm suggesting. And then Village of Mamaroneck's attorneys and their attorneys figure out the plot of land where the new dam is gonna go. But my point is that ball has to start rolling soon. And we have the report. And my feeling is that someone has to go. Hopefully Leilani would go there to Westchester Joint Waterworks and say, Mamaroneck wants the piece of property. And the selling point is that we've been getting flooded for 100 years. And it's owed to us that we solve our problems and they go along with our need of the piece of property for a new dam.
For $1.
For $1. Because they made a great deal in 1977 where they said Mamaroneck is responsible for the dam and the upkeep and all this other stuff. And they made a great deal. So they need for us to make a great deal with them, and they give us the property for $1.
actually important, but that's implementation after the resolution. Resolution still stands.
so right now, we're gonna do the resolution for a new dam and to review the reservoir for increasing flood capacity. I think that
Retention,
retention, right? Okay. Detention,
retention,
no.
you retain,
Yeah, you're gonna detain, you're gonna detain.
okay.
There's a difference, right? Detain, retain.
Well,
Comment.
we all grew up here, we know that the reservoir retains water.
Right, but,
So,
Yeah,
so
but-
we want to
all right, I'll say retain, detain, how about
We would
that?
like it to be placed back to the original position of what it actually
Was supposed to.
was doing. And when it ceased, it was not able to do that anymore.
But say that again?
It was originally retaining water.
Right,
It was-
absolutely, yes.
It's not, we're not inventing this. We want them to reinstitute the retention that reservoir provides.
Did I send you the video of the aerials? Did I send you those?
Yes,
Okay.
that was cool. Okay. All right, I think we got this. All right, so a motion to send, so a vote, make a motion to send the resolution to the board, a new dam and review the potential of increasing flood capacity of the reservoir. Do I have a
So moved.
second?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I'll be a third.
Thank you.
Can I go back to the resiliency?
Yes.
What?
The resilience question, the resilience program from the state. The village manager's office has not received any information about it. And if he did, like he said, if he did, it would have been a part of the updates, but nothing has been communicated back to us.
Yeah, I haven't seen any news on it either.
So, yes, we can make some phone calls to see if our state officials can figure out what's going on with that, because it's money that our residents can definitely benefit from. Okay,
Sure is.
so I will do that. And then more information about the dredging, because I had to really dig deep through my emails, but huh?
Are you fun?
We got a lot of puns tonight.
What happened?
But okay, regarding dredging, on May 1st, there's a meeting with the dredging contractor and the GI consultants to develop scope of work for proposed dredged areas. And this is information coming from the village engineer, okay? Gino.
Did we get the whatever from the DEC that we needed?
The
10-year permit? No,
Yeah, there was like 2 permits supposedly. that we
One.
needed.
not yet.
No,
no, not yet.
that's the 10-year permit.
There's still a lot of things they could do until they get.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on May 15th, GEI consultants to submit dredging application to ACE and DC for nationwide 3 permit and general permit. And the week of June 5th, they're anticipating start date for dredging activities,
I'm sorry,
It's-
when? June 15th?
June 5th, the
Fifth.
week
Week
of.
of June 5th.
It says, please note that the agency's review can delay an anticipated start date, which will also affect the dredging contract schedule. So again, this is also anticipating if we get, the application goes through and everything else. But like Steve said, there are things that the village is trying to do to help move it forward so that when it does come through, we already have other things in place. Questions?
Thank you.
All right, so item E on updates was comprehensive plan. So we had sent, or I had sent a summary of what we spoke about to Neil. Did you hear anything further on the comprehensive plan from the board, on the board level?
So last night with the board, all of the comments that came in afterwards, which I saw, I believe I saw yours. You put in, I think, yes, I think Peggy put in, sorry,
My sister Peggy.
Patty. Patty sent in a request. There's a few people who are talking about flooding that sent in their comments for the plan. And Neil is going to go over it and again and to add these things so that things are not gonna necessarily prohibit us in a way, because sometimes the language in there could just like prohibit certain things, but we're trying to bring a more broader approach to the comp plan. Does that make sense?
Now, does he had said there was gonna be another update, I think, for the village.
No, I think that was it. He sent it to us. He sent us with everything with the extra comments that the community has made.
Was that on the web now or not yet?
Not yet.
Or is that gonna go on the web? Well, you don't know.
I can get back to you about that.
Yeah, so I think that was. I guess I'd like to see what the result of that is.
Can he just send us a portion of the comprehensive plan just for
He said he
flooding?
couldn't, Arnie.
Oh, we couldn't.
So no, what he said that he would take our comments, put them in, redo them, send them to the village. When the village told him, like, okay, change it, don't change it, it's okay. After that point, he would send it, we could get it. So that's why I'm trying to see where are we in this?
And right now the comments were sent. We are requesting that some language be a little bit more broader and
So it's in
transition in between.
So, yeah, so
Not
yeah,
final.
Once we get it, yeah, we'll get it. Okay.
It's moving.
But what?
We just want to make,
But when we get it, it's not gonna be finalized.
No, it
right?
can't
I mean,
be.
we can still, Or no?
No,
No, we can't put any, okay, so we already put our 2 cents.
you put your everybody put their 2 cents in,
Okay,
not.
yeah, but I wanna
You don't
make
get
sure
4 cents.
we put our 2 cents.
No,
in.
the
Our
2
2 cents are in and they weren't taken out.
No, they're
Because
not
you
being
guys-
taken, they're not being taken out, they're
Okay.
there,
All right.
they're there.
Okay,
It's not, but there's nothing
All right.
else. that's gonna
I
be
wanna make
added.
sure our 2 cents are in, they didn't get thrown out.
I'm not just saying, again, I say, I saw everybody, no, it's not being thrown out, it's, and not just people with flood, it's a lot of people with other issues in the community that their comments was there,
Okay.
Okay.
read through.
Okay, so then F I had on here. I-95, well, really, I should say, the stormwater flows off of roadways. I know Kate had presented and then there was some discussion about it.
It hasn't even, I don't even think it's made it, it's coming up on the work session. So
So it's going to a board work session.
it will eventually get there, we just had a lot going on.
Well,
Do we have
This,
to have a
95.
Do we have to have a resolution for? to
right,
Be put on the work session?
I think it might, it would, well, I don't like to overwhelm them that we, and then they love to hate us that we send them 50 things to do.
Hey, Joe.
Love to hate us.
Nobody loves to hate you,
I think it should be done.
I think that this is an important issue that needs to be dealt with.
Yes.
Right.
I think one
My,
thing
my
is-
point
I
is
think-
that, my point is. I. Don't take it, I'm gonna be abrasive, but don't take it the wrong way. But the BOT. Has to get, we need to put all our suggestions in and they have to be put in. We can't say, well, we gave you this and we won't give you this. We're giving you everything and you gotta deal with it because.
It's not a matter of being overwhelming people,
Yeah.
because people are being overwhelmed with flooding.
Yeah,
So
it's-
let's overwhelm anybody if we
Yes.
need to.
It has to get done. Let's put it in. I know they're busy, but
Okay.
I.
Yeah, this one thing before.
We have, yeah, well, I'm not, so we have a vote for putting it in.
Yeah.
Patty, are you a vote for sending them a note on this also?
Absolutely. I thought that Dave's resolution that he wrote up was great.
Right.
I mean, it's already done.
Steve, what's your position?
I want to write it up, but we have to include the mountain. Because they're both 995, they're both going to the transport, the state highway authority, we should combine the two.
I think
I
that's
think it is
included.
part of it.
though, Because it's.
What is covered by it?
It's
It's all throughway authority.
Okay, so, all right,
And I,
so,
just a comment on that, that I know that the Environment Committee is being sending a similar resolution to the trustees.
Yeah.
And it would really look weird if we didn't.
yeah. All right,
They did make a presentation last night and that is something I think is going on the work session. So if it's timely, it's timely.
Andrew, are you in favor of sending this
I think he left.
resolution on the highway flows that the village has to really address it?
I think he left.
I don't think he's there.
Is he?
He's in favor of it.
All right,
I know he is.
so do we want to send it as Dave has written it? Do you want me to circulate it to you guys and edit it one more time? What are you thinking?
I thought it was good. I mean,
I would also suggest even possibly talking to the chair of the environmental committee and just saying, what wording would you also like us to help you support you in these endeavors?
I mean, is there a chance that we could send a joint between both groups?
It'd be more effective if it's two
I think it would be too,
Two separate
resolutions from two different committees
but
on the same subject.
similar yeah,
On the same
similar wording.
No, they'll do their thing, we do our thing. It's the same focus.
So we're gonna send, all right, so. Do we want to make this a resolution for the dam and reservoir and separate resolution for the highways stormwater flows? Two separate.
it's got it.
It's two separate subjects.
Yeah, it's gotta be separate.
Separate next. Okay, all right, I will read your thing carefully and I'll just circulate it one more time. to make
Yeah,
sure
I mean,
everyone-
I wrote this off the top of my head,
Okay,
so you know, anybody who wants to wordsmith it,
Okay.
clean it up, improve it, please do.
Yeah, I just don't see offhand anything on the mountain.
So maybe you want to add that in,
Yeah,
um,
Her, the I-95 corridor, or is it requesting that the thruway department look at the whole corridor embracing the village of Mamaroneck on its border? Or is it just
Well, okay,
addressing
so that's a
certain
good
areas?
question. My position is that I think, and let's talk about this. I would like the village to look at all of the highway stormwater runoff, whether it's the Hutch or the Thruway, even Boston Road, right? And I don't know how you do that. I mean, the Thruway authority is fairly simple because it's the Thruway authority, right? The rest of them, so I'd like to make our resolution a little on the broad side that, okay, we feel this is important. And whether it's coming off the Hutch and going into the river there or coming off I-95 going into the Sheldrake, it's still floodwaters from Mamaroneck.
Absolutely.
So,
But that's my concern as far as misstep. Washingtonville was receiving water from 3 different directions. We've gone over this on.
50
right
times, yeah.
together, but as it poured over, 95 into Washingtonville, it was like a waterfall.
Right.
We were getting hit by 3 sides. So
Yeah.
it's something really, I guess it would have to be broad instead of piecemeal. We have one shot at everything. We are already at tilt. Nothing as horrific that has happened I can't fathom happening again. And I just, hope that in those resolutions that it's covering not just certain spots.
no, it's gonna be comprehensive.
this resolution is for the 28.2 acres of I-95 that comes through Mamaroneck. I think that we could do this one because it is the New York State Thruway Authority, which is different than everything else.
Right. But from my understanding is
And-
we're gonna bring it to the BOT. The BOT is gonna bring it to Steve Otis and Shelley Mayer, and they're gonna go to the state representatives who do this stuff, and they're gonna get their engineers and their consultants to figure out what they have to do to rectify this area, right? Isn't that what's so?
I think that it's different because it's New
Very,
York State.
very political. Okay, and if we call up Steve or Shelley or something, we're nice people, but we don't have any influence or authority. It's only our Board of Trustees that goes to them in an official capacity on behalf of the village and said, this is important to the whole village, not just you, not just me, not even just our committee. And even for us to speak as individuals to them on this subject, we need the official imprint of the Board of Trustees on that. And we all know that it's political. It's the governor. It's the Assembly and the Senate. It's our representatives there putting pressure on the Thruway. Thruway Authority does what it wants to do.
Yeah.
We just have to change its mind about what it wants to do.
That's very hard sometimes.
So let's go that route. Let's send it to the BOT and then they could do the talking and then.
That's what they're trying to understand.
Can we have a state representative come in to a flood mitigation meeting and we plead our case to them directly, to someone who's gonna get it on their lap, or?
Well,
We may not have to. We get this passed by the Board of Trustees. We know that our at least our 2, Assembly and Senate, will be behind it.
Okay.
And then we just have to put more and more fire under them
Right.
to prioritize it.
And it's similar to how with the whole DEC thing process went, right? When there was like a halt or there was a lot of miscommunication and the application wasn't going through. We had to go through Steve, we had to go through all these things and finally just make it happen. So hopefully we'll have the same results,
Okay.
But that is because I think that's how you guys sent the resolution a letter of support around that time
Mhm.
for us to do those things.
Okay.
Even though they were kind of already in motion, but the support of the boards, this
All right.
particular board, that's
So
the
then,
process.
well, not that it doesn't matter. I mean, the wording is gonna go to the BOT. And then the BOT is gonna talk to the state, or it's gonna talk to Steve Otis and Shelley. And then it's gonna go to the state, and then they're gonna do what they want to do, correct? So the wording is not that important. It's just to get it, just to get it down the chain of command, correct? So the wording is fine by my vote.
The who?
Sorry?
Library.
Board of trustees for the library.
No,
No, it
No,
may
no.
be at the library.
No.
Oh,
Hmm.
is it tonight?
Did you bring the money?
Yeah, but my pocket is zipped.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up if you.
There's the flood committee. How you doing? You want to join the flood? Oh, did you bring money? We'll take the money for the flooding. Yeah, front seat, yeah. The whole village of Mamaroneck, Sheldrake, Mamaroneck, and Beaver Swamp Brook.
You know, I've got a client. I have a client. The heights. The way towards the bottom,
Oh my God, it's probably Peggy.
flooding.
Still gonna Peggy know it, right?
His house was.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Mold. Couldn't sell the house. And he had a mortgage.
The meeting, oh, that's the town, damn it.
He needed my money.
So you gave him the money?
That's the
Oh my
town?
God. Goodbye, goodbye. You know where,
And years. And we've been residents.
Library's that way.
So I have to do something about it.
Okay. Thank you.
It ain't chicken.
No, it's not.
It's not saying on the website when the board meeting is, so I apologize, I don't know.
Go to the street,
It
make it
says-
right, and go to the libraries, right down the next.
This
one.
says
Oh, you
April-
did? Oh, okay.
This
sorry.
says April 26th.
So it's tomorrow?
That's what this says. April 26th is their board.
Yes, we just.
So,
Not hearing.
sir, the board meeting is tomorrow, not tonight. It's on April 26th, not, and today's the 25th. It's all right. No
You're
worries. Have a
welcome.
blessed evening.
Hang
Okay.
out. You came all the way this
Yeah,
way,
might-
you may as
might
well.
Listen to something.
Okay, so.
We got that.
Did we do a motion for the highway resolution or not?
No.
Do I have a motion to send a resolution to the Board of Trustees supporting their involvement and request to minimize highway flooding throughout the village of Mamaroneck?
So move.
Second,
Second.
any
I
ayes,
Seconded.
any noes? Okay, so moved. Okay, great.
moved.
Okay, great, excellent.
Just a procedural question. This is subject to one round robin of editing or
I think so. It's gonna be simple. I won't make rocket science out of it.
good.
Good. Okay.
Hmm.
It's two
All right.
resolutions.
Item G. So the Boston Post Road, I think Bernie, you had asked about the
Bernie.
road.
And they said it's not affecting,
Mhm.
And Jerry.
less than.
Jerry sent it. One of those hydrographic charts around. One of my neighbors though has a question. I don't know if there's no sidewalk on the east side of the bridge. So if you're gonna go from, say, Harbor Island Park to.
But I thought that's what they're doing. They're
Yes.
putting the sidewalk there.
Yes.
I haven't gotten hit yet.
Yeah, they're putting the sidewalk.
Part of the project.
Great, excellent.
All right, so to work
Okay,
on.
cool.
We're gonna get a sidewalk. We're gonna get flooded, but we're gonna get a sidewalk.
And bike lane.
Good job.
And a bike lane.
And rebuild the platform.
Okay, so let's go to new business. I was calling it the Resident Assistant Initiative. We got updates from not Finch, but Glenner and Leilani. The other thing I wanted to ask about was the Mamaroneck Avenue School construction. Can you explain that a little bit, Bernie, please?
Okay, so I wrote an email to them about their stormwater management, which is non-existent at Mamaroneck Avenue School. And I questioned them about what they're gonna do about it. So,
Now, was that in reference to them doing a project? Or it's just in general?
well, over the years, they put an addition on the back. They made the parking lot bigger. They filled in the old playground, which was below a few feet below street level. And then they put another addition. They didn't change the footprint of the building, but they put an addition over the overpass there, in between the two, in the old building, the two old buildings. Were those the original building and then the newer building?
Yeah.
So the overpass they built up. So I had reached out to the planning board to see if they needed a permit through Mamaroneck as far as doing the construction, but he said no, because they weren't changing the footprint. Now, maybe years ago, when they did the back addition, they had to get a permit through Mamaroneck, but that was
No, it goes through the county, I believe.
it?
Schools go through the county.
Right.
Does it? But,
Mhm.
well, here nor there, the planning board, one of the chair emailed me back and said that as long as they don't change the footprint of the building, they don't have to normally come to the planning board for their permits and do all that other stuff. But I thought that too, that they went to the county, but it's here nor there, so they have to get a permit somewhere. But when they did the new addition and they fixed the parking lot, they paved it again. Like, they paved it, they didn't put any drainage in it. It was just, they're not doing anything for stormwater management. I mean, the amount of water that comes off of their property, you can imagine. It's, that property is a one city block, the size of one city block, and they don't have any dry wells in, nothing. I mean, I walk my dog around there, so you could see the leaders and the gutters coming off of the building, and it's just spilling onto the ground. And the other thing is, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Which a lot of people don't, but I do with my dog. But anyway, they actually, the gym gets flooded, and they have pumps that pump the water out and pump it to Mamaroneck Avenue into the storm drains. And then it goes into the storm drain, and then it goes into the Mamaroneck River. But I mean, obviously, when it gets flooded, they're just it doesn't work. The water's just circling around.
In any case.
But anyway, I emailed them. We got a response.
From who?
The board
The
of
board,
education.
WNA also, which Laura started, emailed them also. And we got a response.
Possibly you want to get support from the PTA at the school?
Well,
I don't know if that would help.
well, anyway, I went there and I spoke at a meeting, and I read the email, and they seemed receptive. But I emailed them the other day, which was 2 weeks, to ask them. They have a construction board on staff. They have their board, it's called the construction board. And then they have their consultant and their contractor who does all the work in all of the schools, basically. Or it's not a contract, or it's not a contractor, so to speak. It's someone who organizes all the work. That's the project manager. They're consultants to them, that they do all their work around. So they were in the process of going to them and talking with them, but I emailed them the other day and they said they haven't spoken with.
All right, so the reason I'm bringing up this topic,
A month to
Yeah.
do a
well,
turnaround.
Yeah. Well, one of the board members lives on Howard. Do you know her?
Yeah, she's actually hasn't been in her home. She's on, I think
Right.
she's on.
Oh, she's on right
Yeah,
now?
Andrew
Oh, okay,
Smith,
so
Andrew, yeah.
she knows about it then.
She would be a big advocate,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I think
So-
she's the only one that is on that board. That
So no,
the
that
fact
happens-
it's that magnitude, but also from this area. Everybody else is on the other side.
Yeah, okay, well,
So like, I
okay.
mean, she's a definite advocate for individuals, not just if you were flooded or not, but she's an advocate for
Okay.
our community.
Right.
Okay. What's her
Okay.
name?
Andreen Smith,
Andrea?
Andreen, ANDRENE, Smith.
Okay, she came to a couple.
No, I'm
she
sorry,
came to-
Athena's in Vermont Village, sorry.
She came to a couple of meetings in St. Vito's, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
she was at the school
Oh, okay.
because she's affected.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, so then she knows about
In
it,
any case. That's
but,
what,
but
trying to get them to,
Okay, so.
we're waiting
Okay.
for them to,
All right, but I don't, so here's, the reason I'm bringing this issue up is, I think that people laugh a bit about green infrastructure, right? But you're talking about green infrastructure. Those parking lots and all the parking lots in the village, I think, so I'd like to see what SLR is gonna recommend, right? Because I can't believe they're not gonna recommend a green infrastructure program. So what I'm thinking is, if SLR recommends a green infrastructure program, then we have to figure out how to implement it, how to get funds for it and implement it. Because if we took, and we did this at where I work at a college, we had a parking lot. I don't know if it was as big as that Mamaroneck Avenue school, it was probably as big, it was a pretty big parking lot. And it used to flood, we used to call it the lake.
Mhm.
We put in these bioswales, all this green infrastructure stuff. And it took about a year or two before the roots went down, but there's no drains in this parking lot. And it can pour rain, it does not flood. Now, I don't know if that would work here, but I think, let's what SLR recommends.
Mhm.
But I think that if we went the whole village, because we didn't lose one parking spot. You know how you have the medians between the lines, that's where we put the bioswales,
yeah,
and it worked, right? So let's do that here.
yeah, well,
there's nothing in
But-
between there.
You
yeah,
can
they
do that
have,
in that
well, they have
parking lot.
plenty of room to do whatever they want to do there. I mean, and then, I mean, they could put in a football field of Coltex in there, underneath their baseball field if they had to.
Right, but that's big
So-
lots. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but so I would suggest right now, let's see what SLR comes up with. But I think we need a green infrastructure program in the village.
Okay.
And you can calculate, I mean, we could hire probably SLR or get the state to hire them. Because that's what we did at the college. We hired a stormwater engineer.
Yeah, but doesn't the school have to do that? They have to go through and then go and get the funding and
We're
all that.
private, we're private, we had to get our own money, but we got money from the city.
Yeah. Well, there's grants out there for the school and all that.
So, let's table that for right now, but I think it's a
Okay.
good.
Well, just for a side note, I suggested to them that the 100-year storm regulations that the county's guidelines are not good enough. Because GHD got up when they did the presentation, and I keep saying it, 100-year storm is every 7 years.
If not six.
So it's not good enough.
I agree.
It's just not good enough. And that's what we're gonna talk about that later in another subject.
All right, so that,
But I'm waiting for an answer for them. It's basically to see what they're gonna go. I mean, I'm sure if they need help on doing stuff, I'm sure we can do it, but we can help them figure it out. But it has to get done. Something needs to be done there.
well, I
You
think.
can't just keep paving and
I think we
having
have to
everything
look at
going to.
Village-wide, we have to look at green infrastructure.
Yeah.
All right, so next item I had was the proposed electric vehicle stations in the Jefferson parking lot. Leilani, I didn't ask you specifically to follow up on this, but we're a bit concerned because we don't know what's gonna happen in that lot, and I think it's, if we put infrastructure in, then we may just have to rip it out, so.
Jefferson Avenue parking lot.
Are we putting EV stations in there?
Yeah, no, I know. So, I got Oh, it was, took a minute.
Is that being proposed that we put in? How many do we know?
I don't know, but like I say, to me. I'm not saying.
Right, why
we
do it
don't need
now? Why
AV
not wait?
stations, But if we're gonna hopefully be talking to the core about changing that design, so I don't wanna put them in there and. So Leilani, can you just
Mhm.
talk to Jerry about
I
that?
think we should put, if anything, put it in the top parking lot, I mean, give people free, you know, a free stay in that parking lot that day for a charger. You know, if they have any electronic vehicle.
You could put them.
The top parking lot won't get flooded.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Is there a better place to put
Right.
it than
Why,
the
why
lower
go the
parking
lower
lot?
parking?
Yeah.
That top parking lot, what?
The top one next
No,
to
no, no, the top,
Next
top
to the
one up
train?
against,
No,
right up
it's-
against the train, yeah, yeah.
Where
yeah.
the train,
Right, right, right.
where the.
If that got flooded, we'd be real.
Yeah,
Platform.
right, thank you. All of those
We'll call it
words.
platform.
I mean, you could even give, like, do something like, you know, going back to your green plan, anybody who has an electronic vehicle gets to park in the top parking lot
Right.
without charge, and then.
Right,
But how many they're proposing? You don't know how many,
But I can say, and I think I got an email from somebody.
maybe at least 4 or 5, correct?
I think it was two.
Oh, 2?
I think it was like throughout the whole town, there were maybe 4 or 5. I think 2 of them might have been in the Checkpoint.
Well, maybe they can't do it because that's MTA property up
No,
top.
that's owned by, the upper
Up
one.
top?
Yeah, the upper.
That's MTA property?
I don't know. I know we
I
own
think
the
so.
one in the lower,
Well, we
You know,
could
the
look
big
into
one.
it anyway, right?
yeah. I remember I asked Jerry about that, or Dan about that at one point.
Or at least the parking lot where Modern on the Rails is over there.
That gets
I mean,
flooded.
at least-
That gets flooded
Kind
as
of
well.
That gets flooded.
level.
I know, but it doesn't go, there's not 6 feet of water on top of the parking lot.
Turn on the flooding.
No, but the lower one, it had like 6 feet of water above, you know? I mean,
On the rails had like, had the first floor.
yeah, had like, I don't know, a foot.
They have a
or 6
different, they
inches
have
or
different
whatever.
floors?
No, no.
The gentleman got it?
All right, so, go ahead, what's your name?
My name is Harvey Groenstein. I live at 1116 Palmer Avenue, down in the
Mhm.
Marion. Yeah, down in the Marion. I was over here because of the library. We've lived there since '83. My wife worked at Bank of New York at 440 the Marion Avenue. We live in Saxon Woods. And I have a client in the Marion site too. That the entirety of that river floods. Whatever happens in town is a function of the entirety of the Mamaroneck River. So hearing you talking about parking lots, but Chuck Schumer walked this property, he walked the town a year and a half ago. Catherine Parker, when she made her run for
Congresswoman.
Congresswoman, stood at the Waverly Avenue intersection of the Mamaroneck River and talked about helping people out of their second story homes because of the flooding. So fixing drainages is not going to get you anywhere. This is an entirety, this is a very comprehensive, a total issue. So my question is, did Chuck Schumer accomplish anything other than walk and talk?
So we have what's called, we have now what's called a holistic approach to watershed flood control in Mamaroneck. The holistic approach is what we also call parallel projects, right? So the Army Corps project is in design, is in pre-design right now. They're going to be working on bridges, channels, Columbus Park. That's getting started. We have.
Park at the bottom of the heights.
Say it again.
By the train station, in Mamaroneck.
Park, right. We have, the village is doing a lot of sewer work. They're doing a lot of, they're starting to clean the rivers. There's a firm doing a study of the whole watershed, SLR. They're doing to see what we can do from a comprehensive approach. We had a engineer study the Mamaroneck Reservoir and Dam. That's what we were talking about before. So there's going to be recommendations coming out of that. And then there's a lot of miscellaneous stuff that, as you've heard us talk about here. So it's a big project, many faceted project.
Is there any expectation?
Put some caffeine in that.
For the engineers?
I'm putting caffeine in that.
Yeah, supposedly in June, they're gonna start the actual design work for all of the elements of, or at least some element.
Prayerfully.
We'll go to them.
It's not fast. They don't do anything fast. No, I
And
don't.
let's also not even forget like the bridges that have like,
Tompkins.
Right, so.
Tompkins and being widened and
Ward
deepened.
Avenue.
Do Bridge
You know,
work,
they did
so.
the
Yeah.
Hillside Bridge.
Right.
Going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Or, yeah, it's a lot.
And we keep going, right?
Yeah.
That's the good thing. And we give things that we haven't stopped. We just keep going. That's also with the advocacy that you guys have been doing in our community. It's just pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing to make sure that we are doing the job. So it's a lot, but it's good a lot.
Okay. What, so then item 7.
Enjoy your meeting.
How about, on the new business,
New
other?
business, do we have any, other issues?
I know there was that email about the changing the regulation, the PLLK 2023.
I was gonna cover that under floodplain regulations,
Okay.
but yeah. So we'll cover that. So,
Alright.
okay. So, all right, so floodplain regulations. So at the last meeting, Andrew, are you still on or you
It's
disappeared?
not
He's
there.
gone.
He
Couple
probably had to
people
go
there.
on.
Those are
Maybe he's on
other,
his way.
He might have to go to court.
No, and Andrea Smith looks like she's on, and Daniela. something
Camarda.
C.
Marta, that's my wife.
Andrew's not there. Yeah, he hasn't been there for a minute. Let's keep pushing.
Okay, so I thought I had asked Andrew to send us all, because he had said they had done a lot of work. I guess he can't
Yep.
find it. I talked to Jerry very briefly. What does he want the process to be? Because Bernie, you had suggested bringing in the village lawyer. He said, talk about it tonight, see what we agree to, have Leilani talk to him after tonight. So I had a brief look at DOS and DEC's website. They have training stuff, right? This is a pretty complicated issue. So I'd like to talk about 3 things here. One is new regulations or updating regulations, changing regulations, right? Second is how to do that. And then the third, the other is how do we enforce what's on the books already? And I've got a couple of emails from residents and they're talking Flagler Drive. I'm sick of emails about Flagler Drive. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. You know, they're saying the zone, we're doing the wrong zoning. We didn't do this, we didn't do that. I don't know what the answer is. And I don't really know how to figure out what the answer is.
I don't
Maybe
think
we
we
could-
should have to know.
Yeah, wait.
It's not our job.
Yeah, it's,
But then we do have a planner now.
yeah.
So somebody we can speak to Greg. I can speak to Greg about that.
Yeah, but those emails for Flagler are not, they're not violations, so you don't need a code enforcer to go look at those things. Those are things that are on the books, that the Harbor Coastal Zoning Management is looking at and the planning board is looking at. That's what the board is there
Right,
for.
But it's okay, so this group, our FMAC, was empowered to look at applications and to talk about, to send back comments to Brittany, right?
Yeah, I made comments in a while ago.
Yeah,
So-
I know you did.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that's like a huge task, right? And so even that, it's like, I feel incredibly frustrated that getting these emails, I don't know what to say, whether it's, you know, what can I say? It's in an E zone. I mean, what am I don't know what to do. You can hear me. I'm just frustrated.
Also, it does take like a day to like look through a lot of stuff and make comments.
It's a lot of work. So
My idea of this whole code enforcement, I shouldn't say code enforcement, with the building code. My idea of changing the building codes is because people like us don't have the time to go to every HZZM meeting and the planning board and look at this property and look at that property. We need a list of codes and rules that we all feel comfortable for flood control, not flood compliance, because that's the big thing here. We need to change the board's way of thinking and the BOT and the planning board and the HCZM. It's not flood compliant, because flood compliant is good for the people who live in the building. And it's not good for the people who live next to the building, who have been there and are gonna get flooded. So my idea is to build a building for flood control, which is roof, I've been saying it all along, roof retention systems with green roofs, bioswales, 500-year storm water regulation, not 100. 500. 100 is not good enough. Did I say bioswales? And pervious pavers or pervious blacktop. No more putting a concrete walk in front of the building. That's over with. Put the pavers in there. The pavers will at least grab some of the water, and their parking lots will grab water, because there's 2 properties that are going up to HCZM. Well, they already went, was Van Rance, and they already got the consistency okay from Harbor Coastal, but they still have to go to the planning board. And I went to Harbor Coastal Zoning Management for Van Rance. And I said that the regulations are not strict enough, especially for a building that size, that's gonna take, I don't know what the exact measurements are, but they're gonna take the 50 by 100 foot lot, and they're gonna essentially put a building on the whole thing. They're gonna have a little piece of grass in the back or a little piece of property, and the rest is gonna be building. So their 100-year stormwater flood regulation is not good enough. We have to bump it up, and we have to have other things like retention on their roofs, and the water has to stay on their property for 24 hours.
So I do have a plan of speaking with Carolina, who is the person in charge. I'm sorry, I said I do have a plan. I do have a plan to talk to Carolina, who is in charge of the building department. Yes, she was here when I was coming in, and to ask her about the different laws that affect, you know, flooding in Mamaroneck, and how we can adjust it. Not just with the flooding, but also how people develop in our community and the things that they want to do, how we can, how we should update it. So I do plan on doing that.
Okay.
I know that they're in the process of having a lot of movement going on. So give it a week, or by the next meeting, hopefully I'll have a little bit of update
Okay.
on that, okay?
Because my point is
What's your point?
if we are going to spend all of this money with
Yeah,
the ACE, and if there's a possible new dam and new reservoir, and if we spend all of this money and we keep doing what we're doing with the building aspect, it's not gonna work. My other point is that there's another property on Barry Avenue, and they are not in the flood zone, but their water will run down the street, run down Barry Avenue, and then will run into the river. And I addressed that at Harbor Coastal Zoning Management, and the Barry Avenue,
up there by Shell, like down that.
no,
North Barry?
across from the deli there on Barry Avenue,
Up at the top by Grove.
where
Okay.
the fire
Church,
station
Yes,
is.
yes.
There's the deli there,
Mhm.
and they're proposing 6 units. There's only a single family house there. Again, they're doing a 50 by 100, and they're essentially putting a building and a big driveway, and they're paving the whole property except for 15 arborvitaes on the side. It's 637 Barry Avenue, and I addressed this with Harbor Coastal Zoning Management. They are not in the flood zone, but their water runs into the flood zone.
Okay,
And I know you guys just passed this zoning thing for across the street here,
Mhm.
and I feel the same way about this building across the street,
Mhm.
that
We have to make sure that,
it's
it
gotta be
has-
flood control. It can't.
but I think that's that is that is at the forefront of I don't want to say every board member, I can't say every board member, but I would say a majority of board members that with anything that we're doing right now has to be, we don't like you, who is trying to do all this work to just bring, to try to,
No,
so everything has to be flood mitigation or flood control in mind. That is like what we are proposing. So,
But the
That's
laws
fine,
have
but
to
the
change too.
regulations.
yeah, but we
the
do have
codes
to
are-
change.
No, but the codes are not
Did I
there
put-
yet.
What?
Oh, that was, you probably hit it.
Did I move it?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
the-
was like,
But
that
the,
is a
but
little
the
too
codes
freaky
are
for me.
not, the codes are not there yet.
No, and that's.
They're not, they're
That's
not
the
there
problem.
and they're not in
And
black
that-
and white. So
and
when
no,
the
I
board, like when the
understand.
planning board gets it, they look at 100-year and they look at, they don't look at roof retention systems. They don't look at green roofs. They're looking at, you know, they're worried about if there's a solar panel on them, which I agree with, it should be, but that shouldn't be the only, there should be a lot more flood control in these codes because of your point before is you have a life, I have a life, she has a life. We can't sit there and police every single property that comes up. We're not gonna slow down the building in Mamaroneck, but we're gonna make them build it right and to the way we need to build it for the future of Mamaroneck.
Of course,
Okay, so.
yes,
Well said.
Leilani,
yes.
to me, I think from what Jerry said, this committee needs, would like a process so that we can come about with, we could either help or promote, push, increase stormwater flood control regulations for the village. How do we do that? Is it, do we get a training session? Do we get the village lawyer to talk to us? I don't know what the solution is, but
Because it
that's
isn't us.
really the question, right? I mean,
How to
Another
commit-
thing is just to have a consultant, consult with us on these, I think.
right,
it's-
or consult with the
Isn't
village.
it like, I mean, I mean, just reading this stuff,
Say it again?
I said, just reading this stuff when you're going through these buildings are just, you know, crazy, you know?
So the committee would like a process of how they could support stormwater, what?
Improve stormwater regulations.
Regulations and code
Yeah.
and building code.
Support
It's all to do with building code.
and improves.
Yeah, but we want to implement we want to implement our local laws
Right. Well,
and
that's
our
the
local codes. They might not necessarily be the county standard,
Yeah,
but they should be our standards because
Whatever we
yes.
decide we need, yes.
Yes.
That's
Got
what
it.
I'm saying is, how do we,
Okay.
right now, how do we get to, we have to figure out what we want and then how to get it in the code. So
Got
that's what I'm saying. What's the process to do that?
got it. It's on my
Got it.
task.
Okay, so.
I
we
will
have to-
repeat, I will
Okay,
repeat at the
next.
end all the tasks
Okay,
that I got me
okay.
doing.
So we have to get a wish list again then.
No, I mean, these are
Well, I
just,
think we need a process to, even before we need a wish list, we have to get a process so we could give someone
Okay.
to implement the wish list.
I'm gonna bug Andrew, because he said he had a wish.
when you figure out where he's at.
He said he had a whole,
Yeah, he said he had a whole packet of stuff. I'm like,
Packet of
okay,
stuff.
I emailed him twice, that's
he
why.
held it up at one of their meetings. You were there.
He's hiding it.
Maybe
You
he's,
were there?
maybe he's,
You were there?
maybe he's
You were there?
counseling on it.
Well, wasn't that thing,
That's probably-
but it was about that
He
thing.
could be meditating.
I will bug Andrew.
Are they gonna be strict enough? Is it gonna be strict enough though? Andrew.
We'll see.
So that's the
Andrews.
process is gonna be, right, we could.
We'll see.
Okay,
Well, we'll see what it is. We don't
We'll see
know.
what it is.
okay.
We don't know what it is yet.
But I mean, obviously also has to be flexible.
Don't rest our hat on Andrew's,
We're
We will
not,
see.
but if he's got it, it might be.
I'm just gonna go after
Or-
Jerry.
We'll see.
Say as a resident,
Mhm.
that's probably, as you at the beginning, what do you need from? us? We need power mitigation, we need rescue, but what we need is before it's too late, more stringent codes to be enforced. Because although we want to build and repair, we can't. We're gonna lose a third of our village unless the laws that we have in place are enforced. And that we created a more stringent building code that's enforced.
So I think that's
No,
the
and
other
that's
part, that's
something-
the other part also. I know we talked about enforcement, but I mean, when you're looking at these, each individual building, you just wonder, there's all these things that aren't checked off.
Yeah,
You know?
but Steve, it has to be, it's not being enforced, but it's being demanded by the planning board. So when an applicant comes up here and they say, we want to build this, they have to abide by the local laws. They have
Yes,
to
and
do
that's-
what they have to put a roof retention
That
system.
was
in. They
some-
don't have, or they don't build.
That was something that Carolina did mention at the IABC
Yeah.
meeting. She did say that, and that was something that she encouraged, I would say, the board to really look at, which is why I'm trying to,
Okay.
the day that I did try to go to see her about it, it was a day that she was really busy, and I'm
Yeah.
busy, like, and it's during the day, I don't want to put her past her time
Yeah,
that
that's
she
fine.
works, so, and I also have to work within my personal work schedule.
Yeah.
So I am trying to do that, because I remember that specific statement that she made at that time, which then had me question, because then I also went to a planning board meeting, and I was just listening to all these things, and I'm like, okay, I'm putting pieces of puzzles together,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find solutions.
Yeah.
So bear with me, but it is on my task to do,
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, Steve, you should know better than anyone. You look through a million applications. It's not easy, you
No,
know?
it's hard.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's not, you know,
It's a different language.
yeah, it's a
Really.
different language and you have to go through everything and see what's going through. And then you have to make sure that the planning board is doing the right thing too. I
Which
mean,
kind of works almost a little bit in a vacuum.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
what I mean.
and that's why actually I was just thinking, before you said that, I'm wondering if we should have meetings with the planning board, meeting with HCZM or whatever, and just kind of get their perspective on some of this too.
Yeah, we could, but yeah, I mean, we could, but once the local laws are in place, we
Yeah, but-
don't have to worry anymore. There's a cloud hanging over everyone's head that
I think right now, and I'm not saying this for sure, I think it's a possibility that stuff has fallen between the cracks. Because Carolina was in here before the meeting, and she said, if all she had to do with code enforcement, she would need 2 other people just to walk around and she said, it's like a 2-person full-time job. So
But she also said something about being close to getting funding to hire
no,
a few more.
I think she used an example of something else. You're right. She said she was going after something else. And for that thing, just to do enforcement on that was like a 2-person job. That wasn't stormwater stuff. It was, so all I'm saying, Bernie, is that I think our purview here was what Steve really took the ball on, was to just go through, make sure all these applications are doing right, but even that's like, it's a full-time job.
no, I know, it is, it totally is.
I don't know how to do it. This is
And
what
trying to go to the meetings and trying to convince someone to not do something, to do something else. It's not working that way. The system is broken right now. The Marinick system is broken right now. It has to change. And
Yeah, and also just for a perspective that's a little outside of something, I'm building a new bathroom in my district. Took me 6 months to get it.
Yeah, because the
I'm-
building part,
Yeah, well,
the department is a mess.
Exactly, so it's,
Oh, I know.
yeah, and simple bathroom. And it's not, it's just in the basement. I mean,
Yeah.
No addition, 6 months.
Yeah, to get the permit.
Yeah. I mean, my plumbers who aren't, they're from White Plains and they're like, they can't believe how long it takes. They work in all the different towns.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, goes back maybe, to you guys, maybe we need more funding to get more people in there just to do everything, because one thing affects another. Everything from flood mitigation, checking the right boxes, getting permits for bathrooms. I mean, it's all kind of the same
Yeah.
department, and
Yeah.
if none of it's working right, they, need more money allocated to get staffed right.
Steve, you have a checklist, right?
Yeah.
Can you just circulate that checklist, because
Sure.
I wanna,
Now, the checklist I have is just a checklist of forms.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Let's start with that.
And I also just wonder, you know, kind of just the process of, I'm putting this stuff into the system and what's happening
Does
to it.
anybody look at it?
Right.
Everybody's like us, we don't have time.
Yeah, and you know, there was a point.
Look at now, Andrew, I hope you come in with a whole packet.
Hey, where are those, excuse me, Mr.
Hey. You said,
I'm so
hey.
happy I made this stop.
Where, you said.
You should have stayed home.
How much stuff did he say?
It was about
You
that.
had that much regulation stuff on stormwater, right? You didn't say that?
Which one? On the industrial advisory?
Yes.
No, you said, we were talking stormwater regulations, right? You have a whole bunch of stuff, right?
If it's
I thought
okay
you were
with,
bringing it with you.
if it's okay with our new planning,
We got, they don't have to get it approved.
I-
You can't send it to us?
I can, hey, look, I want to make sure I'm following the guidelines and procedures of all department heads and planning boards and
You
this
just
is.
said you forgot.
No, but I will be more than happy to, whatever I have, mi casa su casa.
How do you say when?
Cuando,
What?
when,
Cuando?
cuando.
I thought that's how much.
How much.
No, Quanto's win.
It's when?
When?
Quanto,
I
Quanto.
think it's a bond.
Oh,
Wait.
Mañana, trying to think with the stormwater, okay, I gotta like go back to my head.
Please, just send us the stuff so we could start getting at least not a handle on it, but our hands on it. All right, good evening, Andrew. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for coming. Okay,
No, thank you.
Um,
For having me.
Moving forward.
all right, let me look at my list here.
You're up.
All right, so Leilani, when you're in discussions, can you just ask about enforcement also? That, do we need, and maybe Steve's right, that the answer is this, they're so understaffed that, maybe we can get a grant for another person for a year or something. I mean, not us get the grant, but they have a grant writer.
I will.
I'll be the
Of course.
code enforcer.
I know.
God knows you
love
will.
that.
It's something that we discuss. It's something that we discuss all the time. I want to tell you, it comes up in every meeting
Enforcement?
in terms of enforcement, like it's.
so
So
what stops it from us having more enforcers?
Yes.
we're not asking for a solution. We're asking, what are the possibilities?
I got it.
How can we help? What can we do? I don't know. What can we do to move it forward?
Got it.
Yeah, we're not asking, I
Did
mean,
they ever
if
talk
we
about
could find a
hiring
solution, consultants.
Well, we
Okay,
personally
I think
hiring.
I'm gonna try to wrap this meeting up. All right,
Plan out, and we also.
Patty, you said you did a project update list, which I think I saw it, but then I got that
I
system.
emailed it to everyone
I will look at that.
and I'll update it with the notes that I took for tonight.
Great.
How's that?
Emergency preparedness. So I had spoken about sandbags at one point
Probably tomorrow.
and
It's
I think-
Xanax. I got some.
Leilani and Lou asked me to reach out to Jim Killoran. So Jim said that he has lots of volunteers. But he doesn't have lots of capital. So my vision is that, and I know you guys may think this is insane, but if I walk down any street pretty much that floods, I see steps going down, I see window wells. I think each one of those houses should have 25 sandbags to protect their house. So my vision is that the village buys 10,000 sandbags, we get Jim Killoran to help us, and we distribute them. That's my vision. A lot of people say it's like something in the wind, but I won't say the exact phrase. What do you guys think?
Jim dropped like 10 bags of sand over my house. But people have to have somewhere to store them. A lot of houses don't have anywhere to store the sandbag. Bernie, you actually used one of my sandbags to grout tile. But, if you
I have a
don't have anywhere to
replacement.
put them,
That's the problem.
and then you have to have people,
I leave mine
a lot
out.
of elderly people, they can't pick the sandbag
Yeah,
up.
no.
It's a good idea.
It would be a good benefit. I mean, I
So,
think that.
It's a pen.
Go ahead.
Revisited and it should be, almost like robo blast and offering it and having, if you're having a committee clean and green day, have a pick up your sandbag day, or better yet, we'll drop it off
Deliver
at
them.
home.
Right.
You know, and have people sign up for that, but.
Right.
You're gonna have to get the message out there, people, a lot of people don't read their email, a lot of people don't listen to their phone messages, so you have to kind of make it a repetitive motion for people to catch on, but I think no matter what your mitigation is, whether it's, you know, a dogwood or a sandbag or the Army Corps, every layer is going to assist.
Do you think that having like because Jimmy, you're saying like there's seniors, there's people possibly can't lift it or have space to store it, that'd be a requirement on the list, like for them to write down, like, do you have, check if you have a place to store it, check if you can lift it yourself. And then when the time does come, if something is where like there may be a flood coming or whatever, hopefully not, that we know who needs the help to get it.
I think that would be a good idea, even if it's almost like.
The emergency list.
Yes.
Preparedness.
Yeah,
Right,
that's,
that's what she's thinking. You're working on that.
You know, barriers, and they're delivering sandbags at the same time, and everybody's preparing.
So another thought I had on this topic was, and I think we'd spoken about this ages ago, but have like a block captain, like you guys would be block captains, right? Okay, you know, on your street, you need 200 sandbags. So, okay, I don't know how we get them there, but at least you guys know, and then we would have to work something out, whether we say, okay, there's a spot we store them and then we deliver them, you know, or whatever, but I just feel frustrated that Ida was 15 months ago, and I still don't have sandbags in people's hands, because to me, something is better than nothing. So I'd like to pursue this subject. Dave?
Tony, at least you see on television, storms coming up and there's a municipality and you see people, bags, sand, there are three components. There's the bags, there's the sand, and there's the people to fill them. And you see these crews out there filling them and taking them in. Clearly, some municipalities have protocols for how they do this and what they do. Do they have in the municipal storage, do they, just like we have sand for streets, do they have major supplies of sand? And there's a storm brewing, out comes the sacks,
Right.
out come the people. Can we find out what other municipalities, what protocols they use, what structure they use to deliver bags in a timely fashion to the right place in the right time? Asking people to store sand and bags in their own basements, it just doesn't work.
I agree, and
My house.
Cobalt is very similar to us, but as far as parking, residential parking, as far as flooding, you can reach out to your core communities on Long Island, you could go down to the Jersey Shore, they're all in the same boat we're in, whether it's, you know, in river or it is, you know,
Title.
ocean or tidal. But they're in place and they're implementing this, and they're moving exactly like you said, in procedure, in roto. They know a storm's coming, they're cleaning the drains, they're putting the sandbags out, they're putting the barricades up, they're warning people, they're evacuating, they're out there, they're making it happen, and it's preventative.
Right. Mitigation.
And I suspect Jerry, with a phone call or two, could call other
Well,
appropriately targeted village managers,
Yeah.
town managers,
all right.
and find out what their
I can
protocols are.
find them, not a problem. All
Yeah.
right, I just I feel that this is something we could accomplish in another parallel mitigation.
I don't know, so a couple of thoughts that I had while you're talking about it is, what about storing these kind of things at the village yard where they do the salt and the sand, and why, do we have extra sand at the end of the winter? Why not fill up bags?
That's a different type of.
they're also
I have
having,
no idea.
they're
Just like
also
I said,
having
I have no idea.
a capacity issue
Okay,
with the salt at the salt yard in that area, because of the excess amount of salt that was not used this winter. So they're having a storage issue, and that in other municipalities are surrounding us, or like not even surrounding us, but just around in Westchester County are having the
Same
same
thing.
issue, because we just didn't have snow like that this year.
Tony, it's a related thing. I
Yeah,
made that
just throwing
a
out
while ago. I
ideas.
made that
Good
list
idea, though.
of You mind if I just put it on
Fill
Facebook?
up the pavilion at the harbor with the band.
If I do anything, I get.
I made a list over a year ago,
Uh-huh.
which was preventative measures that people can do, like French drains and all those type of things.
Right.
Literally a page with links,
Okay,
and it's kind of just sat there.
all right,
You
let's
know,
figure out what to
Can
do
we
with
put
it.
it
You
up
wanna
on the
put it on
village
LMC
website?
TV, we can put it, I can ask about the village website, cause they.
Yeah, but it should, well,
But-
okay,
Yeah, it's like all things, all
it
different.
should
things.
be on the flood.
So I know,
there should be a
I know
flood
we asked about
website
it and they
there.
said there was
There-
already.
do we have a page
Let
on
me
the-
see.
English and Spanish.
Yeah, but
me
this,
see.
but this was, it was different, because this was really long-term prevention stuff, not kind of the day of stuff. So it was really a different type of list.
Yes, we do. Okay,
I mean, I could circulate it. and,
yeah. If you could matter of fact, circulate it, and I can request if it could put it on our
Flood mitigation.
flood mitigation webpage. Come on, it's a page,
Right.
not a site, but
Right.
page. And see if we also could circulate it possibly with the newsletter.
Yeah, because it was mentioned, they said, well, we already have one, but the one I did is kind of
So where
different.
would you put it on? Over here?
Why is this not
All
going
right,
on anywhere?
item 11. We have that initiative from the board to be an interested party. That's great.
Figure it out.
All right, does the audience have any further questions? A reminder, May is Mental Health Month. My wife keeps reminding me. Oh, no. You met my wife.
Jacked up
Um,
and showing it.
Excuse
to
me?
I remind you.
But May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's important that we always keep in mind that the amount of trauma that people are going through all the time, because you guys talk about it all the time, and I want to acknowledge it, that there is a lot of trauma with flooding. And I wish I was in the mindset to do something like for Mental Health Awareness Month, but like Andrew said, it's all the time, right? And we have to be aware. So I am trying to work with the Recs Department to do a wellness day at the harbor or at Columbus, where it's just yoga. It could be a lot of breathing techniques and things like that. That will be free for the community, but that encompasses our mental health. So I am working with them on that. Okay.
Anything else?
It's not direct, like I'm not telling somebody to go put something down the drain or, to fix the drain, but it does help at the end of the day.
Yeah, PLK 202.
Okay, Bernie, don't sue me.
We got regulation about the ELK 2023, which had to do with the changing of the zoning, so
Mhm.
so roofs could be considered open space.
That moves.
All right.
I don't know, I'm just.
When is it? Is it, is one, when the board is reviewing it?
Reviewing what?
The new proposed rate, yeah.
Wasn't that last night?
Yes.
That was last night.
What happened? Did they approve it?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what is this again?
I can't even remember the code.
PLK 2023.
What does that mean?
It meant, basically, it was a,
I can't even bring it up right now.
yeah, it had to do with basically changing the amount of open green, open, change the amount of pervious surfaces, and they would include roofs as a
PLL.
pervious, even if the roof wasn't
It's
green.
impervious.
Impervious, I'm sorry. Yeah, so the roof now would be considered pervious, open space, as it was like a ground.
Yes, we did do
So-
that last night.
This is, this is kind of interesting. So does that mean, for example, is that residential, is that commercial? Or is it everything?
Everything. They actually were talking more commercial.
The schedule
um,
request for non-residential districts.
Yeah, it was commercial. They were talking.
It was just
So
two commercial
rooftop and
districts.
atrium spaces that are open to all
Zones.
residents of the building may account for 10% of open space requirements if the planning board finds that they provide usable open space. So if you're making like a rooftop deck or something, it would be considered open space.
So does
Believe that
that
went
have an
through.
impact on flooding? Yes, because it decreases the ground space that has to be
Yeah.
open space.
Again, retention.
So we went backwards here.
Okay, exactly.
And also, there's no flood zone overlay.
We went backwards because now we're saying that you don't have to have 100% of code open space. You only have to have 90%. You can use 10% of your roof. So of the open space
That
on
you
the.
have up front, you can actually make that pervious rather than impervious.
No.
There were no requirements.
Reduces it by 10%.
Yeah, there were no requirements of what to make that space.
I thought it was changed from 50% to 15%.
I don't think we know
As
what we're
well.
talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
Let
too
me go
many-
back to it. I'll come back to it and I'll let you know by tomorrow. I'll email everybody, okay?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was actually, it was voted and.
I believe so.
Who's that voted about?
The board trustees.
Board of trustees.
Me?
Okay.
They changed it.
I believe so.
Oh.
No, I think I did.
Yeah.
Wait, so I'm just curious, that's an interesting point of how, did we
So,
go backwards?
I'm not saying, I don't know what happened, but from what I just heard here, if what we did is said, okay, you can take your roof open space and make it 10% of your open space requirement.
It says, new residential construction in additions to existing residential construction shall maintain a minimum of 15% of total lot area as usable open space. And
Must.
then, huh?
Must.
Did I say must? Did I say must? I said minimum of 15. Shall maintain a minimum of 15% of the total lot.
Shall is a cute legal thing. Shall, well.
I think Andrew's right. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
I didn't
That's
say
how you-
must. I said shall.
So I can go and seek, it's an easier word to deal with than must versus shall. Well, it's
Right, that's why I was
recommended,
saying
it's not
must. It's
Required.
not must, it's shall.
It
All right.
almost sounds like there was a building they were trying to put in that kind of,
Well, down, because now these spots are.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't only one zone, it was several zones.
Well, but, yeah.
Yeah,
It was C1, C2, marine recreation, MC1, MC2,
And one, two.
M1. MC1,
MC1.
sorry, MC1 and MC2.
and some of those were like right on the, some of those were like right on the water also. So-
That's why I said marine recreation.
Right, yeah.
And of course, so much of it is in the commercial district where there's already flooding and now we're letting them have less open space.
But is that the, all right,
I don't think that's not saying the same.
I don't think we know. Let's, if you can get some better.
I'll get clarity.
All right, motion to end this
Thank
meeting.
you.
So second.
Go on in, Andrew.
Aye,
Last minute,
Thank you
third
very much,
quarter,
everybody.
trying to start some crap, you know?
Crazy this.
I tell you.
Opposed is welcome to stay.
I'm sorry. Anyone want to talk from the audience?
Right?
Sure, yeah.
Anybody want to talk? You wanna talk?
They talked all night. The audience. Oh, I, there was, they didn't raise their hand.
Night, night, y'all.
You got, you just provide your.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be informed.
You just have to provide.
Oh, yes, traffic. That is,
Next month.
Excuse me, dear.
is it not gonna be there?
Is it? I'm not sure. Don't quote me right now.
Yes, Lord God, it's
Wait.
so good.
Hanging over you for a reason.
She's on two.
Yep. She's got the two.
You said, oh, you
And
added
two winners.
you and Peggy.
You have to be our representative.
Well, I didn't go over what it was, but I did have that on my task
Okay.
to do.
You said.
I put on there, I said I.
That's right. Which
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Nice.
I'm gonna update that and send it out. tomorrow.
Good night, y'all, sorry. I will see you Thursday.
Good night, everybody.
Because if the, I like 3 binders.
All I want to do is just get everybody to move.
So if you, did you?
I don't want
when-
that to be,
when you-
I don't want that to be a hurdle.
when You talked to Jerry, right?
Thanks.
See ya, bye-bye.
So it has to be talked about.
Bye-bye, Andrew, good night.
See you later.
Somebody else said that today too, so look at me, look at me.
He said, tomorrow night is a board meeting over there, West Virginia.
Night all.
Yes, yes,
So it has to come from maybe a trustee.
I can't